Today I'm out in the field to talk to you about some of the nuances of ancestral veneration. And I just finished a project that was really one long performative and well executed ancestral veneration. So we're going to go up here, look at the river, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Made it up here to the river. You can see across on the western side of the Mississippi River is the famous St. Louis Arch. And this is actually where what I am calling one long ancestral veneration occurred. I operate a nonprofit, and it is an oral history nonprofit, and it is called the Community Archive. We received a grant from the Healing Illinois Foundation through the Field Foundation to offer a living history tour that traced the sacred sites of the 1917 East St. Louis Race Massacre. And here's a little bit of video of the actors embodying the ancestors as they arrived in East St. Louis, saw the vista of the river, and were excited about the future. The second place that we came to and had actors to portray the ancestors, embody the ancestors, was right here at sacred site number 20, which used to be a juke joint where some of the early violence took place. Now, we were eventually lucky enough to get a local tavern owner to let us stage this embodiment in their tavern. But this is us rehearsing on the site where there was some early violence. There was a lot of anxiety among white residents, recent European immigrants, and the ones who had been in the U.S. for some time. They were anxious about the strivings of Black people and how that might supplant them in the city. And then we made it to True Light Baptist Church, because Black life is so often about what's done on Saturday night and what's done on Sunday morning. Here's the sign for True Light Baptist Church. What's incredible about this place is that this is where the ancestors rang the bell in order to call people into a meeting about the growing threat of violence. And it is sacred site number 1 on the tour. We made sure that the church would allow us to actually ring the over 100-year-old bell that was used to call the ancestors to the building so that they could stockpile weapons, get people out who needed to get out, and more. The next stop was the former site of Dr. Leroy Bundy's home. Can you believe that he was charged with starting the entire 1917 East St. Louis Race Massacre?
They had already chosen me as the culprit. What are you all looking at? You think I'm a condemned man, don't you? You came to see Leroy Bundy, the Negro that started the riot.
Well, I didn't start the riot. I was blamed for it. Some of us Negroes know what I'm talking about.
After that incredible scene, we headed over to hear from Mrs. Gurley, an ancestor who sustained burns but survived. And then we ended with real live descendants of survivors. Terry Kennedy, the one drumming, his great grandmother built a raft so that her family could get to safety during the height of the violence in the 1917 Race Massacre. Yes, that was an incredible experience and collaborative project that I know I'll be unpacking for a long time. You know, the Community Archive, which you can visit at thecommunityarchive.org, is an oral history nonprofit that I founded and am executive director of. And one of our signature projects is collecting the stories of descendants of survivors of the 1917 Race Massacre. Last year, we did a project where we had a descendants panel and an art exhibit and some bus tours of those sacred sites. So this year I was challenged as to how to make it more interactive, more ancestor led. And that's when the idea of a living history came to mind. I worked with three incredible members of the Eastside Arts Collective, a collective of creatives, makers, and artists of all kinds who wrote the skits that I just described to you. Dominique, um, um, Jay Willis, Tiffany Lee, and Kiara rather. These are women that are so gifted and without whom the project would not have happened. You know, several years ago, I chose my word for the year to be collaboration because I was tired of going it alone. And that word choice has bore so much fruit in my creative life. I would say around the same time, I beefed up my ancestral practice. Um, I have an altar in my home with fresh flowers and water and pennies, and where I have photos of dearly departed ancestors. I call their names daily, and each week I refresh their altar. I can't recommend this practice enough. If you are interested in hoodoo, spirituality, metaphysics, the occult, even, I have to say that leaning into your pre colonial ancestors, if they can be described that way, as well as near ancestors, is really important for your wellness. It's a wellness practice. Um, this project, the Living History Project, I am sure will be duplicated in the future. And we've taken some time to kind of digest, and we'll be getting together. And when I say we, I mean me and the leadership team, those writers that I talked about. We'll be taking some time to get together and celebrate each other, and talk about the places where it was strong and talk about the places where it could be strengthened. But overall, this was a transformative ancestral intervention. I am Dr. Treasure Shields Redmond, your erstwhile conjurer, and I will see you next time.